how I found myself stranded at an airport in 4 countries in under 36 hours, and my rendezvous and ordeal in Rwanda and Nigeria on my way to Benin, and other stories. Guys, I'm telling you, my rendezvous traveling across the African continent, I have decided I'll tell the stories because I think it's good to share your life experiences and lessons that you pick from them, and also for other people to learn, and so that they don't kind of make the mistakes, and so that they know when they decide to do some things. So I think before I give this background, I give this story, I'll give you the background of why I was doing this and what I do, so that you have better understanding as we go by. And I want to welcome you back to my channel, guys. I always tell you I'm your girl in change and excellence, and if what you're looking for in life is change, growth, excellence, then I am here. I'm a sister in the journey, and I'm doing this just for you. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so right now. Subscribe and give a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. If you have had some audios traveling across Africa, let me know your experiences, or even what you have learned. You learned from this story, and you can also turn on the notification bell. So, guys, I think my story. Maybe I can start with the background. So, I'm a life coach. I'm a corporate speaker and trainer in the areas of leadership, and I usually do business conferences across Africa. I have partners in different parts of the continent. So I'm always traveling across Africa. So in this particular trip, I was traveling to Nigeria and Benin. I was traveling, I had conferences. I have the women conference I was speaking at in Lagos, and I had a business seminar and a youth conference I was speaking in Cotonou in Benin, So I think that it's good when you know that, so that at least you don't wonder, so where was I traveling and where was I going. And the reason why Rwanda is in the picture is because I was using Rwanda Air. I mean, across my travels across Africa, I always love to use Rwanda Air, And for me, I love Rwanda Air first because I love their services, and also I think for me it was also, they're also fair. In terms of the prices and their airfares, they are also like very, very fair. And so I think the story starts with me at the airport. So I booked my flight to Nigeria. Now, for those of you who know, for some time, if you're a Kenyan, you have a Kenyan passport, you didn't need a visa to go to Nigeria until recently, and this happened in 2019, like late 2019. It was about October, November there. It was just before COVID. So I'm at the airport, and my flight, I remember, was in the evening. I think it was a 6 p.m. flight or something like that. 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. 5:30 or so flight in the evening. I think I remember that. So this is my flight to Nigeria. So I was supposed to actually go, since I'm using Rwanda Air, of course, they will take you to Rwanda. So if you are flying, it was not a direct flight. So I was supposed to go to Rwanda first, and then I would spend the night in Rwanda. And I always have friends, So anytime when I have a long layover in Kigali, like, I just call my friends, I go and spend at their house. And then in the morning, very early, I leave and I catch my flight. So that's how I've always done. Anytime I've traveling West Africa and traveling to Nigeria or another country. So this time was the same, And I remember, I went to the airport, and I gave, and you give your you're going to check in, right? So me, I'm going to check in very nicely, and I have everything. I've packed. I'm excited. It was like my second time going to Nigeria. And the thing is, I had just been in Nigeria like about 3 weeks before. My first time to go to Nigeria was like 3 weeks before. So now, this is the thing. I get to the counter, and this lady asked me for a visa. And I'm like, what? I don't need visa to go to Nigeria. I'm a Kenyan, And she's like, no, you need visa. And it was actually enacted, like the embassy said, enacted it, like give the direction like a week ago. Please, if you're traveling anywhere in Africa, anywhere, please make sure you first of all know what are the visa requirements. Because these things change, and countries, sometimes they'll have issues, and some of these bilateral ties will break, and you need to be very sure that you, if you need visa, and you get it, or if you don't need visa to go to a particular country. So for me, I had not checked or called the Nigerian embassy, because I knew I was there like 3 weeks ago. So and I didn't need a visa. And for the longest time, I knew to go to Nigeria, you don't need a visa when you're a Kenyan. So I get there at the counter and they tell me, no, you need a visa. So I'm like, so what do I do? And then I like arrived like 1.5 hours to go, 1.5 hours. So it was like a bit late. So she like scolded me a little bit. Why didn't you come like an hour earlier? So she told me you can stand there and download. You can actually download it. You can be able to submit it even online. But the kind of documents that they need, the plethora of documents they need for you to upload on that portal so that now they can generate your visa. I'm telling you, at least we were not paying for the visa. But you have to like really apply for it and all that. I don't think we were paying for it. I don't remember doing that. So you have to upload a whole, I don't know, an invite letter. I don't know what letter. You have to upload so many things. So I started doing that. They told me, you know what, madam, I don't think you will manage. And the best thing you can do for now, you're going to miss this flight. The best thing you do for now, imagine getting such a shocker at the airport, at the counter, at check-in. So she told me that, but when she saw that I was really like, hey, because I was getting nervous and I was trying, and now there was even another gentleman who was not doing the same. So you're trying to help each other and all that, and then at the airport is like the network is not working, things are not opening. That moment when you are under pressure, things don't work. So you have your bags, so she told me when she saw that, I was really trying and I was, trying to ask her for help and she has to serve that, she told me, madam, you will not make. And it's like, hey, she was not even kind with me. The way you can be kind with somebody and tell them, she was talking to me as if like I should have known, and then I've come a bit late, and then she was not kind at all. So she told me, you'll not make, and by the way, what you can do right now is cancel this before the system reads that you have, it's not sure, because the penalty will be all the way up. You better just go and cancel and rebook at the other. So I have to go out and go to another counter there and rebook. So I'm trying, no, we can still manage. You manage, madam, you will not manage. You need to go and sit down somewhere and do this well. When you're seated down, and make sure you submit the documents and wait for the embassy to send you back the visa letter, the visa. Hey, where? So I did. So I couldn't understand, but when I realized even that gentleman had to do that, so like I calmed down and all that, and I did what she was telling me. So like I had to bust right there, like I had to bust another $150 for me to rebook that flight for the following day. Yeah, I had to bust. And I booked the same flight the following day at the same time. So $150 like that. That's like 15K. Right now it's like 17 or 18K. So, and then I went and sat somewhere at the airport at Nairobi International. I mean, the at NBO, there's a cafe called Paul's Cafe. So I went and sat down there, so confused with my bags. They're coming to serve me. I wonder, why are you serving me? I'm so stressed, And so when I was there, and then I remember it's like, I don't know if I had enough money, because now I've used money that I was not supposed to use. I was supposed to use it, when I'm in Nigeria or when I'm in Cotonou. So I remember I had to call, I had to get some more money. I had to make sure I have some more money. I had to look for money. Now the question was, now where do I spend it? Because I can't go back home. I was not gonna go back home. Well, I live in Nairobi. I didn't want to go back home because I was like, I left, and I'm supposed to be on my way to Nigeria. Like I can't go back home, So thank God, my brother used to stay near the airport, so I just called him. He's the only one I told, because now people know that I'm going and everything. Hey. And people are waiting for me in Lagos. People are waiting for me in Cotonou. The conferences in Cotonou are happening before the ones in Lagos. So my plan was, I get to Lagos, and then I go to, I take her, because from Lagos, my friends from Cotonou, they were coming to fetch me in Lagos. So from Lagos to Cotonou, is to the border of Nigeria and Benin. They had told me it's about 2 hours. That would be a story I'll tell you later. So my plan was that I get to Lagos, get myself to a cab, they would come and pick me, we go to Cotonou first, so that I have the meet conferences there. They were all happening on one day. Then when I finish, maybe spend 1 or 2 days there, then come back to Lagos, So that was the plan. So you see now, at least I had traveled like a day or two earlier, even to my conference in Cotonou. And I thank God for that. Woo! So now I'm seated at Paul's Cafe trying to download the documents, trying to get the right documents, trying to call my hosts in Nigeria, telling them, oh, please, you need to send me this, you need to send me that, you need to send me an invite letter and everything. So at the end of the day, I thank God I was able to upload everything, and the visa letter was like automatic. I got it. So when I got it is when now I called my brother and told him, please, my flight has been, I have had to cancel my flight and I've had to rebook it to tomorrow. Can I come and spend at your place? So that's how I found myself, at my brother's place. And I went and spent there. And then now the following day, I left the house very early. I went and sat at the airport. Again, I went to Post Cafe and sat there waiting for my time, because now the flight is all the way 5:30 or 5 or 6 nauko. So now the following day I went. Let me tell you, there's nothing as depressing as getting stranded at an airport. You don't have something. Either you don't have visa, or you don't have your passport, or you can't find it. There's nothing as stressful as that. Me, I've seen people. One time I remember I was in Bola, Ethiopia. I was on my way to South Africa, and there's this man. He's a Jewish. The Jewish, they only fly Israel Airways, and mostly they only fly Israel Airways and Ethiopian Airways. So there's this Jewish man who has lost his passport at the waiting area. At the, what do you call it? That waiting area, the check-in area. He has lost his passport. And the passport is the one that has the visa and everything. And the man was so stressed, and I was trying to tell him, I was trying to encourage him, but he was getting hysterical, and I couldn't understand. It's so depressing. If you've traveled, you know that. And so I then so the time came, and I got into the vehicle. I got into the vehicle. I got into the flight, and I was so happy finally. So I get myself to Kigali. I can't remember what time it was, but that flight is usually 1 hour. From Nairobi to Kigali by air is usually like 1 hour. So I get there to Kigali. I'm so happy. So because my flight is the following day, my flight to Lagos is the following day morning, very early. I think 9:30 or something like that, very early. So I tell myself, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off, and then I go and spend the night at my friend's place in Kigali. I've always done that. So I did go to immigration, check out, and and go. So I went, found my friend. So when we were talking, they live in Remera. Remera is not far from Kanombe. Kanombe is where the airport is in Kigali. So I go to my friend, we meet, and then he tells me, oh my God, at this time, I think we are hosting some family members. We can be able to host you. So I'm like, oh my God, now what do I do, But anyway, we spent the night together. We had... not the night. We spent the evening together. We had the lunch. We had the dinner. We stayed until about 10 or so. 10 p.m. is when now I told them, no problem. I'll just go back to Kanombe. Kanombe is where the airport is. There are some hotels there. I can go and find a hotel and book and sleep. So me, I go back to Kanombe. I leave Remera, go back to Kanombe. And then I went and stayed there. There's a hotel that just overlooks the airport. So I went and sat there. I think I took some drink. I took, some warm drink because I needed something warm. And then I now started looking for a place, like a hotel I could go and sleep. So I get into a Boda man, and he's taking me around. So he took me to the first hotel, and they were like charging, I don't know, $100 or so. And I was like, no, I'm not ready to bust another $100 for this. Like, these are things I didn't plan for. I didn't plan to spend this kind of money, So we go to another one because they can see the time, what time it is. Even the Boda people are telling me, these people, they don't charge like this, but because you look like maybe you really need the help, like you're desperate, so they'll ask you for anything. So me, I'm not parting with my $100. No. So we even went to another hotel. They're charging $100. So I said, you know what, take me back to the hotel that overlooks the the airport. So we went there again, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna sit here until morning. Like, that's an ordeal. And it's cold. It's cold. It was not too bad. And then all my clothes are in my big bag, which I checked in. Or like so I was traveling in the evening, so I had just some light clothing and all that. So, but I think I had some few clothes. Let me tell you something, guys. Please always make sure that you've carried on you the bag that you don't check in. You have at least a set of two clothes, only clothes you can wear for 2 days, because stuff happens and you may find yourself without your bag. It has happened to me in the past. That's a story for another day. Make sure in your bag you have everything. In the bag that you're carrying, that you enter with to the plane, you have at least a set of clothes you can wear, and everything you need, whether it's the oil, everything you have put in that bag that you won't check in. Otherwise, you put everything in the bag that you check in, you can talk to yourself. Unaweza jiongelesha. I'm telling you. So I went to, at least I had carried a few. I think I had carried, and I really thank myself. I really thank God for that. So this is what happened. So now I'm back to this hotel. It was a restaurant actually. And I don't know, at least it's nice because it had sofas. So I'm wondering what. So I went and ordered I went and sat. I didn't order again. I went and sat there, and then I started dozing off. And then now it's like noisy. It's they also sell alcohol. So that side, it's noisy where people are taking the alcohol, it's noisy and all that. So for me, I sat somewhere outside. I had to sit outside because somewhere outside, but it was a nice corner. There was no one else there, and the sofas are there. So for me, I just slept on the sofa there. So, and when one of the attendants like came around, he put, I think he understood, and I told him, I just want to rest here. I just want to, I'm waiting for my flight. And he was like, no problem. I was scared, and I thought, oh, he told me, no, you can't sleep there. I just have to go back and bust my $100 and get to another hotel. But I slept there. It was somehow kind of outside, but it was it was a nice place. It was not bad. So, and then he also gave me something that he placed on me, whether it was a cardigan or a pullover thing, he just placed on me. And then for me, it was comfortable. Like the sofas was really comfy. And me, I slept. Like I just slept there. I just slept there, like almost like at the reception of a hotel. Waiting to catch a flight because I don't want to bust $100. Like, hey. So that was my ordeal in Rwanda. Like I've never had such an ordeal in Rwanda. Rwanda has always been like so smooth for me since the time I started visiting Rwanda, I think back in 2012 or 2013. So the following morning, hey, I didn't like that experience because anyway, at the end of the day, you are outside, So even if I had something, I was still feeling cold. At least when I woke up, I freshened myself up, in the bathrooms and all that, and I was okay. And I went to the airport and I checked in, and that was my ordeal in Rwanda, sleeping outside because you don't want to spend akizotabia. So I went to I went, checked in the following day, and then got into the flight, and I found myself in Lagos. Now this is where another story begins, guys. By the way, I don't know how long this video will take, but I think I'll do it in parts because now this story, it gets longer from this point, but I'll try to keep it short. So I get myself to Lagos. So in Lagos, remember, I was not given a multiple visa. I tried to apply for a multiple visa, but I didn't get a multiple visa. I got a single visa. So a multiple visa means you can be able to leave Nigeria and come back again. A single visa means you can't be able to leave Nigeria and come back again. If you leave, you'd have to apply for another visa, apply for another visa, and actually even pay for it. So it's like that. But I had gotten a single visa, so, but you see, I have to leave Nigeria and go to Benin and then come back. You get my story? Hope you do. So I go to immigration there, and I tell them about that. So I told another gentleman that And he was like, no, I'll help you. So I found, he's so friendly and all that. I'm telling you, no, I want to go to Cotonou, I want to go to Benin, and then I come back, but I have a single visa. He said, don't worry about that, I will help you, got you, you know. So I'm like, now he is so friendly. He even gives me his number. He asked me for my number, you know. So he tells me that, you know, I just need to pay, I don't know what to do. So he actually wanted to, you know, get some money from me, you know, and try and then he thought I'm a fool. So when I realized he's too friendly, I stopped talking to him. So I went, and first of all, you know, the kind of, I think, flights that were arriving at that time, because the immigration was full. It was like full. First of all, you have to go and wait for your luggage. You wait. People are making noise there. So finally, I got my luggage, you know, at the luggage base. I get my luggage, and then nikatoka. Then I go to, um, you know, where they're supposed to check, like if it's the passport. There's a passport, and then there's also the yellow fever certificate. So I go, they check, they stamp and everything, and then now I'm just asking for guidance. Now what do I do, because I need to go to Benin. So because I was asking, is there a way they can give me there? So this person wants to, you know, get some money from me and all that. And I realize he's too friendly, and I stopped talking to him. So I go to the counter where now it's immigration. That's where they are giving me like the entry to enter Nigeria. So I get there, and I found a man there who is so excited about this lady, about me. He's just looking at me and telling me how beautiful I am. Kenyans, wow, you're so beautiful. Kenyans are so beautiful and all that. And he's just looking at me. Let me tell you. And then he gave me the he gave me back my passport. So this is the thing. He never stamped my passport. He never stamped entry my passport. You know, you can't enter. You can, if you're found in a country and you don't have that stamp on your passport that you have entry, you know, that shows entry, permission to enter at the country, like you're in trouble. So the man did not stamp, and I didn't realize that until later, and I'll get there. He was just concentrating on how he's telling me, you know, how beautiful I am and everything, and gives me back my passport. So me, I just, and he was even asking for my number. I pretended I'm not hearing, and then I took my passport and went. So I go. Now I'm very happy going to, you know, at least now I have entry and all that. Me, I never checked my passport at that point. I never checked my passport. So I go, and now, of course, the first thing you do is you want to change money, because I had some dollars. You need to change money into Naira. So I went, and hey, you know, there are some 2 or 3 forex bureaus there at Murtala Mohammed International Airport. So I go to the first one, and I realize, hey, this one is expensive. So I start haggling. Nobody is bothering with you. I'm negotiating. Akitabia za Wakenya, we. I'm negotiating. They're like, no, we don't. I go to the other one thinking it's better. I go to the other one. So I just had to eat the humble pie and and just take the rate they were giving me at. So I changed the money. So what's the other thing you want to do? You want to contact your host. They come pick you. So for me, I call Meshach. Meshach is, that time, was the vice president at Youth in Africa. Youth in Africa is my youth organization, and he's the one who had organized this conference for me in Cotonou. This youth conference for me in Cotonou. So he's the one coming to pick me with a friend of his. And he had told me, since I had told him I will be in Lagos, Murtala Mohammed Airport by 1 p.m. Nigeria time. So he knew that. I had sent him itinerary. He knew that. So he comes, so I go wait there. And then at that time, I remember, I think I had a, so I think I started speaking with some people there, you know, some other Kenyans as well. Them, they left, they were picked. So me, I'm calling Meshach. Meshach is offline. Meshach ni mteja. I can't find him. Hey, can you imagine that stress again? You get to the airport, the person picking you up, and you're even going to another country, like immediately. You're going to another country. You can't get them. You're trying to call, they're not available. So I was like, and I stayed there for like an hour. I stayed for 2 hours. I stayed for 3 hours. It's 3 p.m. There's no signs of Meshach. At about 2 to 3 p.m., there's like a lady who was a Kenyan who was behind me at the immigration line. And she told me, she came on, she found me outside now waiting, like I'm really anticipating, I'm waiting. And she told me, please check your Nini. Please, can you please check your passport? And I was like, why? just check, because I don't think the gentleman stamped it. And I don't know how she knew that. So I went to check. It was not stamped. Like, it was not stamped. Can you imagine the trouble and find myself in? If and you see, I'm leaving. I was to leave Nigeria that night again, that evening again, enter Cotonou. How was I going to leave if I never entered? Like, my passport is not stamped. Like, it would be a whole issue. I don't. It's just God who help me. It's just God who save me. So please, guys, if you're traveling, make sure, as you're having that conversation with that immigration guy, please make sure that it's stamp, and look, ukipewa passport yako, make sure you check that it has the stamp, because you can find yourself in a predicament. So when I realized that, now I went back quickly. I went back to another counter. I made sure I never went to the same counter and said my passport has not been stamped. So I gave, this time it was a lady, and she stamped it, and I saw, and I looked at it again, and then I went outside. And then I was wondering, what was that? What was that? And then it's only in Lagos. Can you imagine? It's only in Lagos. These trolleys that you put your bags to carry, the trolleys, like, you have to pay for them. So me, I'm going to pick the trolley so that I carry my bags and everything. Me, I'm seeing this man looking at me like, have you paid? So I pretended I'm not hearing. Madam, have you paid? Oh. So yeah. So I'm like, why are we paying? Because for me, I've been to other airports, you don't pay. You don't pay for trolleys. Like, that's supposed to be just a service given by the airport. Surely, how do you pay for trolleys? So they are charging. And then even the trolleys themselves, they're old, dilapidated, beaten. And then you are even putting your beautiful bag there, and they're charging you for that. So nikarudisha hizo trolleys. I put back the trolleys and just covered my bags. So I went back outside, trying to call Meshach and wondering what I will do, and trying to call even his friends, and he's not picking up. And I'm stressed. You can imagine, I'm stressed because, first of all, my conference is tomorrow. My conferences are tomorrow in Cotonou. I have to get to Cotonou anyhow. And then now I was asking people, how about picking about? They said, nah, just give up. It's just not possible. And then when I was there at the airport, I was told by the immigration officers that the border between Nigeria and Benin is usually closed by 6 p.m. I'm like, gosh. The border between Nigeria, it's called Seme. The border is called Seme, and there are also other borders, but the one that's nearest was Seme. And they said it's usually closed by 6 p.m. That was the directive given by the president. So can you imagine now? It's 3 p.m. I'm there. I'm waiting for my Meshach. My Meshach will not come. My Meshach is not showing up. My Meshach is offline. I can't get him. So I'm there, trying to, and there's nowhere you can sit outside. Those of you who know Mutala Muhammad, you can't sit anywhere outside. Like, you can't, you have to go back inside, sit there. There's a whole, you go eat. There are people selling things. So I'd keep on going back and coming back and going out and coming back, and I'm stressed and I'm praying, and I'm now at a point where I'm praying and saying, oh God, did something happen to him? What will happen to my conferences in Benin? And they were really waiting for me. They were really waiting for the speaker from Kenya. And I was just wondering what to do. So I wait until I think about 5 for the way from 1 p.m. Can you imagine? And your host has not come. So for me, I had decided, if Meshach does not come, I will go and spend the night in, I'll get myself a taxi. I go spend the night in Badagry. There's a town called Badagry, which is very near Seme. Seme is the border between Nigeria and Benin. I go spend there. Then very early in the morning, I wake up and go. That's what I was thinking. But now I was also thinking, these people will fleece me. These people will rip me off, because getting a taxi, it's a new country. This is the Nigeria that we hear of. So I was sat there until 5. That's when Meshach called. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like Jesus. Woo! It was like Jesus has come. He called and he said, no, my phone went off. And now is when I'm getting to the airport and I've had an opportunity to even charge my phone. Otherwise, I have been offline. I'm telling you, it was like seeing God. It was like, so Meshach came and he picked me up. He had a car. They had a car. He had got a cab, and he also had a friend of his. So I sat, I got inside, and we drove off into the traffic, into the Nigerian traffic, and into the night. And that is where the story begins. Now, this story, from this part of the story, I call it the road to Benin. And it was a whole ordeal. Oh my God. It was a road to Benin, but it happened in Nigeria, and it's a story. Please come back for part two. Check part two coming up soon. Thank you.